So you're new to fishing and you caught your first haul. Let me show you how I fillet the sides off them bad boys. But before we get started, we are the Backyard Bells. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and most importantly, YouTube to see how we caught this nice mess of catfish at the Backyard Bells on all platforms. First and foremost, you want to go ahead and get that fish laid out nice and flat. I like to use a clipboard. They're fairly inexpensive. You can pick one up at Academy or Walmart. So once I clip its tail in, I like to clip the side fins off just to clear up my workspace for me. It seems tedious, but it's a lot harder to clean a fish with a kickstand on it. So here I use my thumb to find the rib cage, and then I start working my knife along the backbone. Eventually I'll push all the way through and then work the knife all the way down to the tail. I don't push it out yet, and you'll see why in a moment. I then flip my fish to the other side and repeat the same process. You're probably wondering why I don't skin my catfish. Well, that's because I don't like skin on my catfish, and that probably doesn't make a lot of sense. Here's why. Most of the time when you're peeling skin off a catfish, it still leaves remnants of the skin on there. In my experience, that's where the fishy taste in catfish comes from, and why some people don't eat it, including me. But now that I fillet them like this, a catfish hate to see me coming. But back to our scheduled program. Once I've got both sides worked down to the tail, I start trying to get that fillet off of that rib cage. It takes a little bit of time. You've got to be patient, but you just keep working your knife along that bone, and eventually you will get that fillet off just like this. Then you're just gonna follow up and do the same exact thing to the other side. Now you take your naked catfish, fillet still attached, and clip him in. And by clip him in, I mean just hold him down with your hand. Now start working your knife into the tail end of that fillet. Do that until you get your knife parallel with the cutting board. Hold the tail end down with your non-cutting hand and keep working that fillet off the skin. Flip it over, makes it easier to see where you're going, and then you got a nice fillet. Look at that leaf, you can tell it's fresh off the water. And now you're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Just work it all the way down the skin until you get that fillet all the way off. Look at him, fry ready, like for more.